Indian bowler and Border Gavaskar series as well, just going past the iconic Anil Kumble with Justin Langer and Sunil Gavaskar here. Seeing the fight from the Indian batters, the tail enders or the lower middle order from the all-rounders, the Indian bowlers now would definitely believe they would essentially have a game plan for tomorrow.
Definitely. I think the thing that India would look to do is to try and get the early wickets as well. When you take the early wickets, you put the pressure on the Australian batting side, because yes, Australia will be looking at having a declaration by maybe by post tea tomorrow, because that gives them about 4 sessions or good start.
JL, a little bit of what we saw from the seamers, Australian seamers today. Now heading into day 4, how do we expect conditions to play out? How do the Indian seamers, and particularly Jasprit Bumrah, how does he make the most out of conditions?
Well, I keep saying I think it's a very, very good batting pitch. Still, I think it'll retain its integrity. I think it'll stay a good batting surface throughout. Jasprit's going to have to be at his very best, but he's going to need support as well. And he might get the support from Jadeja and Washington Sundar. Sorry, I think the spin bowlers, that's the advantage that India have. They have the 2 spin options. They've got Jasprit and they've got their other 2 quicks, Akashdeep and Siraj. So they've got a very well-rounded attack. But they're going to have to retain the discipline so Australia don't get away and score too many runs. The discipline's going to be important. They'll take inspiration from the discipline that was shown with the batting this afternoon, particularly after the first lot of rain break.
Trying to not get Australia to score too many runs. That means, Sunny G, round 2 of Sam Constas versus Jasprit Bumrah.
Yes, that's what we'll get to see sometime tomorrow. I'm hoping it's a little bit...
After 4,000 odd deliveries, both of them will be challenged, one as a debutant, one as experienced spearhead that he is for India. But before we get into that, let's remind you of what the top stories have been so far. The story of the day from India, though, has been not just that partnership, but Nitish Reddy, who is now, with those 40s that he's had in the previous test matches, now he has definitely headlined himself and is actually India's leading run getter in this edition of the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Just imagine...
Back on that phone, my mum and dad were so proud of me. So that, for me, was the magic of today, let alone the battle that we've seen, which has been so enthralling.
2 youngsters. Of course, Washington has done this before, a little more experience. A first off for Nitish Reddy. A team like Australia, I mean, they have an instinct. They smell any weakness, they go in for you. They've actually managed to give it back to Australia today.
Well, that's been the most impressive aspect about that partnership as well, because the Australians threw everything at them. The Australians sense that this is a chance. If they got that wicket, excuse me, they were going to be at the lower order. And that would mean that they could get the others also out very quickly and have a lead of 250 or thereabouts. Now the lead has been whittled down to 160 thanks to that partnership.
Aditya Birla Group Cricket Live, co-powered by MasterCard and Axis Max Life Insurance.
The day was headlined by a defiance from India's next generation of Test cricketers and a young centurion leading into what would be the next day, because it's still a lead by 100 or more runs that Australia have when they do come into bat. Remember, this is a JL and Australian top 4 that have all got half centuries. There's a Sam Constas. It'll be interesting to see if he employs the same tactics against Jasprit Bumrah. And of course, there's a Steve Smith who is back in deadly form.
It's going to be very interesting to see how Australia approach it tomorrow. They're obviously going to take the last wicket, but like Sonny said, they've got to give themselves enough time to feel like they can bowl out India. In the same breath, they rarely take big risks with their declaration either. So it's going to be a game of cat and mouse tomorrow. The players are in good form. I was fascinated to hear in that interview this morning with Jasprit, where they said, it must be unusual to see a player ramping like Constas. He said, no, I see it all the time in T20 cricket. So he will be thinking how he's going to approach it as well. Sam might have an idea in his mind, but Jasprit Bumrah will be thinking, okay, this youngster, he's tried it once, but he's that good a bowler. He'll be thinking, he's seen it all before. So I can't wait to see that contest in the morning, and then interesting how Australia go about it, how aggressive they are from the start.
A lot of that again falls on the person who informed Steve Smith, who loves scoring. He scored his 11th century against India in this test match already. How do India approach him? How did they negate?
The bouncer was ball, he was getting inside the line and he was hitting it over fine leg, not over square leg. When there was no fielder at square leg and Siraj bounced, he hit it earlier and hit it over square leg. So look, he's a great player, one of the greatest in the game has seen. And he's got his own methods of dealing with different kinds of bowlers, different kinds of pitches, different kind of deliveries. So he will still have an answer. But you've also, as a bowling unit, got to give yourself that opportunity to have that. So maybe bowl round the wicket, keep that leg slip in case he plays that glance. Don't have maybe 3 slips for him. Just do that and who knows? Or maybe keep that for the Sydney test.
It's always the challenge of Steve Smith. You know, Jasper also said in his interview earlier, he's always changing. Some days he's moving across his crease.
And he said it could change
What
next
the
week.
Australians did a lot in the first innings was they kept walking down at the Indians. So therefore, if I was the Indian bowling attack or the Indian bowling coach, knowing that it worked quite well in the first, I'd be bowling a lot more bounces.
Of course.
Because if you're coming down the crease a metre, then the ball's going to be on you a lot quicker. And there's a lot of bounce in this pitch. So I didn't see enough of that from India in the first innings. They
haven't
kept
seen
it
it
full.
in the series, actually.
Yeah, and I would be, if I was the Indian team, I'd be bowling a lot more short pitch bowling at the Australian team.
Yep.
And see, they've got nothing to lose tomorrow.
And you saw when Nitish Reddy moved out to Pat Cummins, he bowled a very, very good bouncer coming to him, and he had to take, hasty, evasive action. So I think that is something that the Indians need to try, but there seems to be some strange reluctance to bowl the short ball, and I have no explanation for it. Maybe the bowling coach, Molly Mockle, should be asked, look, because he was quite liberal with the short ball, why the Indians are not bowling? What is the tactical reason for not bowling? There has to be a tactical reason.
It cannot, the expectations and the burden of expectations in a sense is all on Jasprit Bumrah. So for Mohammad Siraj, who's a very experienced customer here, he's made his debut right here. What does he need to do when he comes out to bowl against? What are the applications? Just when you say a bowler just needs to go back to the basics to get his rhythm right again.
Players are coming towards me. I'm not going to be happy about that. I want to show that aggression. He swings the ball, swing the ball with a new ball, but then keep getting in the contest. He's a real fighter. Keep fighting them like his young players have done today. But use that bouncer. Use the bouncer. Use the bouncer. Maybe have 2 men back.
Now, over the last
the bouncer.
Over the last maybe 2 or 3 years, he's lost about 4 or 5 kilometers in speed. He used to be 140, 142. He's now bowling about 134, 135. And that's why that short ball is not quite coming up. On Australian pitches, it should, but it isn't coming up.
Well, there should be a fight on that we'll expect to see on day 4. Very, very intriguing. Gentlemen, thank you again, once again, for all of your insights. Always enjoy it. I'm going to leave you with some highlights, but don't go anywhere because a very exciting PKL raid is coming up right here in Melbourne. It's going to be the Indian All-Stars against Australia's All-Stars as well. Lots of fun to look forward to. We will see you at 4:30 a.m. tomorrow. It's an earlier start for day 4.